Hi everyone, this is Mitrabinda again for you. Without wasting any time, I would like to directly come to the topic, Japanese style of management, right? So, what is the rationale behind studying Japanese style of management now? Some of you or most of you might be knowing how Japanese do manage things, right? Um, but why we discuss this again? Because of the importance that it has gained these years after this, during or after this lockdown. You can see here few top stories of newspapers. Just few days back, I have collected those, two to 3 days back. You can see all of them are showing headlines and the top stories you can see. Times of India, Times Now, whatever. They all are talking about Japanese government giving incentives or subsidizing companies that are in China at this moment and are looking for movement from China to any other country that has got, obviously they would see manpower, skilled manpower, cheap labor and resources, right? And at this moment, we have India, Bangladesh, Indonesia, and Vietnam. They satisfy all these conditions, right? But when firms or companies they change places, they would also look at many other things like the economy, the stability in the economy, the conditions of or the lifestyles of people, literacy, and many more things. Culturally, how they're close to Japanese culture. For instance, if it is a Japanese company, so they will look for many things. So it is important to know the Japanese culture or the Japanese style of management for all the managers in India, because for the Japanese company, the home country is Japan, but the host country will be India. So the operation host country is the country where the operation of two companies from two different countries is established, right? So now, as you know, the rationale behind looking at Japanese management system at this moment, we can just move to the next part, that is the overview. I always give a structured overview so that you will know what's going to come later on, right? So you can see here, what I'm going to discuss is the structure of Japanese companies, right? All the Japanese companies have got unique structure. Why we are discussing their structure? Because they are unique in their structure. They have got a star structure. We'll discuss that. It is also called painstaking structure. That means the pain is not centralized somewhere. If there is pain, it goes to all the parts of the star. I mean, everywhere. Everybody is responsible. Now, another field that can be, a problem for a joint venture is decision making. Who is authorized and how the decision will be made, two different countries, two different set of rules, two different management systems, then who is authorized to take decision? Yeah. Then we have negotiation. Negotiating with different culture, different across cultures is very important. When you have got, if you have got deadlocks all the time, like Docomo and Tata company, they failed because of non-alliance in many other areas except besides their general business areas. So negotiation is very important, that we should look at this very importantly, because a deadlock may cause a lot of financial loss, right? Now, the most important thing is human resource management. Human resources would come from different cultures, different backgrounds. In India, we have got many different cultures, subcultures, right? And besides that, we'll have Japanese people as well. So in our workforce, so a diverse workforce has to be managed, and you can only manage those if you are culturally well aware of both the systems. So the managers have to learn all this. It's very important. Other characteristics of Japanese system will also be studied, like just in time and continuous improvement. Besides that, I'll discuss some research areas. So let's go fast, straight to the point. Okay, Japanese businesses have got a name that is called keiretsus. What are they called? They are called keiretsus. Before the World War One, they were called jaibustus. Jaibustus, right? Now the jaibustus have transformed to keiretsus. Many of the farms that were existing in before the Second World War, right? Like, you all of you might be knowing that, we have industrialization from early 18th century, sorry, early 19th century, that is 1800 something, right? But the real industrialization can be studied when we have got scientific management. Scientific management given by Frederick Winslow Taylor in 1910 to 20s, if I am not wrong. So before the Second World War, the industrialization has actually getting a kickstart, right? Now, at that time, we have got World War II, and you might be knowing Japanese are the most sufferers, and um, industries have got damaged to a larger extent. In every industry, every company have got problems because of their loss of shares, loss of properties, whatever, right? But even though Keiretsu, some of the Jaibustus, that is the previous ones, have survived and they formed Keiretsus, and now all the Japanese forms are called Keiretsus. Keiretsus are having a peculiar characteristic, that is, they are conglomerates. Conglomerates means they have got different businesses. Like if you say, how many of you know that Mitsubishi is a bank? Most of you might not be knowing. They are having chemicals, chemical business. They have motor business. They have got what do you say, life insurance, banking. So here you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. These are the Jaibustus that has transformed, that is the old companies that has transformed and still are existing, like Mitsui, Mitsubishi, Sumitomo, Fio, Sanwa, and Daiichi Kongyo Bank. Daiichi Kongyo Bank, that is, have got other areas as well, chemicals and all that. So when you see, each industry is having many businesses, different businesses. So you can see here, right? So what is the point? In India, we do have Tatas. They make salt. They have got resorts in Genting Highland in Malaysia. They have got more Tata Motors. They have got what else? They have got Tata Steel. So like ITC, we have got ITC. Biscuits, we have got noodles, um, we have got hotels, resorts of ITC. So we too have conglomerates, right? So now we can see these conglomerates and Indian conglomerates have got basic difference. Japanese conglomerates do what? You might be, you might have heard about the Japanese painstaking structure. That means Japanese assures quality first. You know, why quality first? They don't, if you say let's say you bought a car, Prius, a hybrid car, and you say your brake is not working, then the company will straight away get the vehicle out from you and it will compensate you, right? It is not good for all companies, right? But Japanese can do that. They take the pain for you. How is it possible? This is just because of this interlocking and cross-holding structure, right? So they have got uh, various preventive measures to avoid takeovers, because at that time the American colonies, one of them was interlocking and cross-holding shares, so that they thought if one is being taken by foreign companies, the others are there to actually support. So each company held stake in others' company, so that the benefit of this is all the companies will look at each other for their performance, discipline, performance. This is monitoring in place in these kind of cadences. So it also helped reduce pressure from the management to achieve the short-term goals. That is, if you have problem, you just pay compensate at that moment to get the benefit in a long term, because you have built up what do you say, an image reputation that will pay you in later on, because the business grows, right? So this is the structure that the Japanese have. This is a Gibustus pyramidal structure before World War II. You can see there's a owner family, because most of them are family businesses. Owner family, holding company, and subsidiaries and affiliated companies. There is a vertical pyramidal structure. But now the Carrots have learned from the problems during the World War II, when they just were starting industrialization in their country in 1950s, and they have got utmost industrialization. So Keiretsu star picture. This is the Keiretsu star structure. Here the main company, is it? The owner is also linked to the subsidiaries, and sometimes they are also connected to affiliated companies. So you can see all are having, all the subsidiaries, holding companies, and the business itself have got links, that is, they have got shares in each other's companies. So everybody is worried about their return on investment. These people are also concerned with the family business's profits, or whatever the shares are gaining or not. So everybody is concerned. So this is how. And the main thing is, some of them are having bank, as I have shown you, the conglomerates, they've got bank, so they can fund in case this company is not doing well, weaker section. So all of these will pump money into this company to lift it up, right? If this is having a problem of quality or something like that, they all will pay money to give it back to the customers, so that this company can grow again and the customers will be retained, right? So everybody has got stake in here, so everybody will come into the picture and pump money, because most of them are having bankers, so they don't have any problem, right? So this is the peculiar characteristic of Japanese management system. The second thing that I have talked about is decision making. Japanese system are having two types of decision making. Two types of decision making. You cannot say two types, but sometimes they get the decision done by only informal ways. But sometimes, most of the time, they have to go through a two-level decision-making system. One is called Nemavisi process, that is the informal consultation, and the other one is called Ringi process, right? That is called formal authorization procedure, right? So you can see here there are four phases. You can see here when the proposal comes, it directly will not go to the departmental heads for an approval, no, or to ask them feedback, no. When the proposal is tabled, it will go directly to the bottom. It is called bottom to top management system. Japanese system is bottom to top management system. The proposal from the management table will directly come to the shop floor through informal meetings, informal consultations to the shop floor employees, that is the lower labor class, let's say, will be talked first, right? So the proposal will be informally, you have something, you just give them that this is the idea, and informally while eating or while taking tea with them or while visiting the canteen, the managers can get information about the idea about what exactly their employees are thinking about this. Is this more of them are in positive, they're saying positive things or negative things, so they can find out, so they can give this feedback. Then it will be circulated. The next phase is it will be circulated to the department heads, section chiefs, supervisors, not in writing, but informally, in a dinner meeting, in a get together or dining out or something like that. So this will be circulated to the experts, specialists, and then they have got additional information documents requested from initiator. So all these process, involves everyone, each and everyone from a particular division, right, or a department. And then once they find the consensus informally from the department, there is no objection from the department, then they bring in the formal proposal, right? So the informal consultations are called Nemavasi, right? This is called Nemavasi process. And then when the proposal comes in writing for feedback, it is the system of Ringi process, that is approval, and then the approval will be recorded. So the formal process will come or will be tabled in different levels of management. Okay, and then the seals from each department will be taken on that particular document or paper, and then it will be finally approved by the top management. So this is what is the Japanese system. It directly goes to the down. What we have got top management deciding strategies, giving it back to the middle management strategize things. All right, mission, top management writes vision, middle management says how to do it, mission, then they will disperse it to lower management to actually implement or work, right? But here it is not the case. It goes directly to the shop floor and then it comes to the top management, right? So this is Nemavasi. Nemavasi is a system where actually you are preparing the roots for transplanting, right? It is an informally securing prior approval, checking with everyone who counts before formal presentation, covering all bases. Everyone is touched, right? Means building a consensus using one-to-one discussion with each member, right? Before any decision is made. Rengisido system, just now I have discussed, right? Now, the negotiation style. The negotiation style of Japanese management is this. They're very emotional. Emotions are highly valued. Like if you are negotiating with a Japanese counterpart, if you are giving them some kind of gifts, it is highly valued. If you are showing your emotion of your how happy you are with the deal, they're very happy, right? Or if you're showing that you have actually come to negotiate and not to talk other things, you must be showing that up, right? So they are very, very emotionally sensitive. They hide their emotions. Obviously, they will not tell you what they are thinking or what they are having in their minds for you. They will hide their emotions. Also, they would not like conflict. They don't want to confront. They're big, very big, what do you say? Uh, what exactly is the word? Conciliators. Like, they can do conciliations. That is, using their subtle power before going to the table, they actually negotiate between two parties so that there won't be any confrontation in the table, right? They are also, what do you say? For them, negotiation is important because in the negotiation table, they always like to save their face. It's just like the Chinese system, you know. They want to look good. Decisions often on basis of saving someone from embarrassment. Also, they don't like arguments. They remain silent if you are saying right. That is, they are very good listeners. And if you have given them something in writing, they will find it final. I mean, they will see, and if there is a chop and you have written something in there, it is accurate. They will believe it is accurate and valid. And the decision making is also step by step, as I have shown you, the Rengisido system. And ultimate aim of them is to reach to the group welfare, teamwork, right? Now, HRM in Japan. There are four pillars of Japanese system, right? HRM, human resource system. The first one is long-term employment. You know, this is changing now because Japanese are aging population. So if somebody is hired and given a long-term lifetime employment, there won't be any employment for others, right? The younger ones. So Nenku is the long-term employment still in practice. It was before they were calling it lifetime employment. Now they are calling it long-term employment. Nenko, it is called Nenko. It is one of the first pillars of human resource management. Seniority-based promotion and compensation, they think the most experienced one should get more pay. Then it is also seen that the Japanese companies do make their employees trained. It is on their interest, the company's interest. They want their employees to be trained, right? But mostly what they do is they ask their employees to do everything, right? Generalist. Uh, like in America, you'll find out, oh, okay, psychologist, in a medicine profession, medicine, psychologist, whatever, they have got all specialists. But in Japan, there would be one doctor who will be looking at many things, kind of things. So for that, they have got job rotation, multi-skilling, so that if somebody is absent today, you can just get someone else from other department to, replace. So There's a system of traditional training methods like senpai and kohai. Senpai means the master, kohai is the subordinate. So senpai is kind of mentor to the kohai, that is the apprentice. There is also on and off job training provided to Japanese employees. Multitasking also is expected from the employees. Unionism is very in a diminishing state. Actually, it is dwindling. Trade and labor unionism has gone down to 18.2%. Low unionism rate. Mostly those who are existing are enterprise level unions. Performance management under human resource management. I have just given an example so that you can understand what is the performance management, performance appraisal system in a Japanese company. We can take this Hitachi, the company is Hitachi. What we do, self-setting, this is for IHRM, like international HRM, human resource management, goal setting. The employee will self-set the goal, right? Then finalized by, not, this is about the management. Management will be setting the goal for the employee, and the host country manager, host country, let's say India and Japan are having a joint venture, Hitachi in India, right? So India is the host country. So host country manager will be the first one who will be finalizing the goals, what will be achieved from these employees by employing this employee. Then the performance appraisal will be annually for managers or managerial purposes, like if you have got some lower management somewhere, operational management, they need some help, then you have to do it annually. But biannually for the career development or managers development or a particular department's development. So performance appraisal of a person is done through 4 stages. One is this, the employee is the first self-rater. Second, his or hers immediate supervisor in host country, like if you can consider India as the host country. Then third one is departmental general manager in home country. Home country is Japan. So over there, the same departmental general manager, GM, will be the third one to evaluate. Fourth one is the final one, is jointly decided by both host and the departmental general manager, host country supervisor and the department. So both of them will agree upon your feedback, your performance, right? And the performance will be just given, the feedback is given only one way. It is not like one way means only the supervisor and the departmental manager or whoever concerned, your boss, will decide. It is not like 360-degree feedback system. They don't get feedback from your subordinates, your lateral colleagues, and supervisors. No, it is only your supervisor who will appraise you. Training and development, much has not been seen as development, like, seldom take training programs while on assignment. They don't take. Yes, they'll be having some language training and orientation to the system. There's no clear connection between performance results and career development in Japanese system. That means the career development has not been written properly. Performance is obviously related to seniority-based pay systems. Link between performance and compensation is not yet clear. So, what are the recent changes that we have got to HRM? HRM has been long-term, the long-term employment practices. The lifetime employment has been reduced to 12 years or 5 years. Changes in the employee assessment and compensation system. There's a introduction of performance-based merit systems instead of seniority-based merit system. That is called Seikashogi. 60% companies in recent years have seen taking up performance-based merit systems. Only 2% like to take seniority-based compensation. And I know this lockdown will change even a lot more. The diversification is done like most of the fitters who are fitters, the temporary or part-time employees are becoming higher in the businesses. That is the non-regular employees. Also, we have seen specialist employees because they were generalists. Now they're becoming specialist. Someone is should be specifically trained for something. They take more mid-career hirings as well. They experience is not counted much. Need for new educational methods has been looked at. Okay, so rise of fitters phenomenon is more work sharing. Women in Japanese system has always been seen as, inferior to men. In the Japanese system, if you appoint women in higher position, the men will not like that, so they directly don't want women in power. So but now the things are changing. Women are also in going to bigger positions like CEO, general manager, and all that. Unionism is just vanishing. The two more systems just in time that is called Kanban system. Shishiro Toyoda of Toyota company once visited American supermarkets where he could see uh, the this process, like Japanese system supermarkets were always filled up, but when he went to American supermarket, he found out that the shelves are half filled. That is, people are taking, once it is fully finished or just half finished, they will again restock that. So what he's just found out that we don't have to always stockpile things. We just have to make what is needed in time, but do not make much. Just the supply chain should be going on, but we should not make much to just stockpile. Because in Japanese systems, they will produce a lot of things just to make it filled up. And at the end of the day, they have to throw much if it is not needed or out of date. That is what just in time you can see in Toyota in practice, and many Japanese company make it practice. This is actually an American practice. So as the continuous improvement, it is called Kaizen in Japanese system. So, because most of the companies are vertical in nature, that is, at one point of time, Toyota have to take 28 jobs, that is, signatures to make a decision, right? In this time, you'll have, if you are having a problem in operations, and just because you are not having decision, you can't take the next step, you will not produce much and you will lose. There will be a profit, there will be a loss, right? So what you will do, you have to put things in system that whenever there is a problem, you have to find out and address that then and there. So that is called continuous improvement. It is not like, okay, plan, do, check, act, and then you have got a management review and done. No, it should go cyclically, and whenever there is a problem, everyone have to address that. The Japanese management system is very flexible, and that gives an opportunity to Indians to cater Japanese companies in India, right? So when they operate outside, as you see, Sadahi Kusumoto, the CEO of Minolta, it is not Minolta anymore, Konica Minolta, once said Japanese managers in US must recognize that they are not in Honshu. It is the largest island in Japan. And that one very different aspect of management in the US is the idea of corporate social responsibility. For Japanese, corporate social responsibility is taking care of the employees. But for Americans, it is not that. CSR means for Americans, it is doing good to the community where the company is performing or operationalized, right? Okay, if you see, there are many research areas emerging from this. What? Your task Now you got to know what is Japanese system. Now you have to compare with Indian management system. That we'll do later. But for this is a task for you to go and find out how the Indian system can actually have same values, different values. Like Japanese are high context culture. High context means they are having very risk averse, and you see, like they don't confront much. So for them, context, community, everything matters. So you can see how Indian culture is can be aligned with. You can take Hofstede's measures to find out, right? So you can have a chance how to do it through comparative studies, of course. And what to study, there are few parameters I have talked about. Variables like global managers environment, CSR and ethics can be talked about. Communicating across culture, like decision making, negotiation, all that can be talked about. IHRM, international human resource management, can be talked about. Multidisciplinary research through financial or economic models can be talked about. You can align with economic students or finance students to make it multidisciplinary to give a more good result. And you can actually help in this kind of problems. We have got concern over these kind of relationship, so we can better that through your research. So these are the emerging areas that you can actually do research, do make proposals, and then go to your supervisor, right? So next time we'll talk about American management system. We'll talk about each management system and then compare with Indian management system, each one with Indian management systems. So Americans unfortunately have a rather negative reputation overseas for not being culturally sensitive, right? So because they feel, what do you say? They feel they are having they feel confident in other cultures, which is not the case in our case, right? They are very boastfulness and loudness and speed. They like speed, right? Whereas they find Asians like, poker's face and all that. While doing business abroad, they are advised to, Americans are advised to speak in a low voice and don't talk religion, politically should restrain politics, slow down, talk slow, dress up differently, talk small, right? Read a map. Okay, so next class we'll discuss all those things, American system. So thank you very much. Do like and subscribe the YouTube channel, BVLI. Drop your ideas and suggestions in comment section so that I can improve or give you more. Thank you very much. Thank you.